Alright, we're going to start putting this together now. And so I am not putting the seal in. I'm not putting the new crush sleeve in. I'm basically just going to set all this together. And then I'm going to install the carrier and see what I got for, you know, everything that direction. See, I clothesline that way. You know, before I do like a final, you know, final build, final assessment, final anything. So, trying to get stuff cleaned up, which was pretty clean right up until the wind started blowing everything around. Let's see. It appears that this, you know, I said that on the last one. Well, I didn't put a video out on that that LTZ that I built. I worked on that. I probably should have, but it was so hard. Everything was in a hurry. We were trying to get stuff done, and so I ended up not being able to do as good a video. Or actually, my videos, the last few I've made, I haven't put any out because they just really aren't that great. I've skipped around, and, not been happy with content, the way stuff came out, and it just wasn't what I wanted. I know you really can't see what I'm doing. You should probably see the pinion start moving. That's the bearing for the front. I just set it in there so it wouldn't get completely dirty. And I'm gonna put the old crush sleeve in, like I said. The new bearing. I know how hard that went on that other. Something I didn't try. Wow. Funny, I can get the bearing off, but I can't get it back on. Well, this is already starting to aggravate me, and I'm just getting started with it. Yeah, I can get a nut on there anyway, so I guess that's how we'll do it. I'm down with a nut, which I did not clean up. Came with a new nut too. I'm gonna put the old one on for this. So this is not final assembly. This is just setup purposes to see how close everything else is. Which I did not bring my anything out here, like my didn't bring anything out like my air hose or my impact or nothing. I'm falling behind here. Let's see. All right. Well, I don't know what just happened there. Did I have it unloosened? I sure didn't think I did when I started, but I did. pack or something. I'm still feeling movement that I don't like. Yes, the bearings are dry. This is where you may end up having to shim that, see, a little bit. Now, crush sleeve's supposed to kind of make up for that, but let me give her a little more beans here. Better, but still got a little bit. It ain't near what it was, so if this thing doesn't work out, then I know where I'm going to have to put the shims at to add a little bit more to that. That, of course, means tearing that brand new bearing out. And that also means beating that race out, because I'm going to have to replace that too. Alright. And I'll bump the camera. Still a little bit of movement. I really don't like that. I don't think it's supposed to be there. Better research that on your own too. I'll have to go in there and do that in a little bit. But alright, I'm going to clean up some stuff here because I don't think I cleaned the caps up, and then other seal or spacers. Then I'll bring the carrier out here and try to shove it all together. That's kind of a pain. So try and do it by yourself, but I'll be back here in just a minute. Well, as I was going through this, and I had to kind of stop and interrupt right here as I was editing this to put in, no, that pinion was not tight enough. And in the end, it kind of bit me, because obviously I used the old crush sleeve, and I did that for a reason. I don't want to waste the crush sleeve I had. I may have said that. I didn't watch every piece of this, but I kind of had an idea of what I was doing, you know, whatever. I kind of remember, because this has been 3 months or so ago. Okay. Maybe 4, I don't remember now. Don't make a difference. What ended up happening in the end is I still had a tad bit of slop when I had this whole thing together, and it ended up being, and I do not know how this happened, but I had to put a new regulator on my air compressor. I came out one day and the whole thing had actually come apart. I don't know what happened or why it happened. And I put a new regulator on there, and for some reason I had set it back at 90 pounds. Most air tools run about 90 pounds, and I don't know what happened, but it was only about 65 pounds. I was wondering why that thing didn't act like it was hitting real hard, especially if it wasn't clear full of air. So I took it for a drive after this. Was all put together, and I'll probably do another video after that to explain, in case you missed part of this video. And because this is kind of boring to me now that I'm watching it. It's like, wow, this is. But anyway, long story short, I can still hear some sound. I came home, jacked it up, and pulled the drive shaft back out, and went in there and was investigating, and then found that the air compressor was not set well. So I readjusted the regulator, went back out there and tightened the pinion up, you know, the yoke back up, and got the slop out of the pinion. The problem is that then changed my backlash. So although it's not howling or making any noises, and it's probably got 5,000 miles on it by this time, it you know, what can you do? Check all that stuff, because I knew something wasn't right, and I should have checked it then, and I didn't. I was in a hurry to try to get this together, and so it kind of bit me a little bit. So not only do your own research, of course, not just watch a video of some idiot, you know, putting something together like myself, and then you know, if you're trying to do this on your own, it's nothing wrong with doing it on your own. Just be, you know, mindful of a lot of things, and I did have a little slop in there, and that kind of bit me in the end. So we'll go from here. Alright, this isn't going to be easy. I'm going to try to set this in here. I'm probably going to wish I'd done it a different way. Okay. This is not easy, and don't drop it on yourself like I'm probably going to do here in just a second. And you've got to put everything together at once. You can't do it halfway. It honestly has to, everything has to line up together at the same time. So with these shims that are not trying to go in there, you can't, it's going to be such a snug fit that you pretty much have to do it all at one time. You can't, like I said, you might be able to do it if you're trying to put different shims in it, but everything I have done, I've always had to do them together because they just fight you to the end. And I can already tell you this is probably going to be, and you can't beat them in either. You think you can, but you can't. One side's in, one side's not even close. This is no fun. I've actually even moved them from side to side before, moved the spacers, you know, from the side that came on. And actually, because the bearings is what's changed. Thickness of bearing and stuff like that. And then this is a different carrier to boot. So if you're using the same carrier, don't even be surprised if you change the bearings on it. That it's, yeah, this is not going to go in there. There's just no way. So the problem is I don't think I got near enough of these shims. I may have to go buy a set of them. That's what's bad. Let me measure from one side to the other and find out if one side's thicker than the other. Not that that's really going to make any difference, but it will be on the amount of shims I have. You know, also, you know how it goes in there. But this, I have ran into this the last time I did it, putting new bearings in. This is not an easy deal, and like I said, taking this on, if you've never done it before, it can be really, really aggravating and finger smashing. Yeah, it's just not going to go. Not square. It is really close, but it's just not going to go on there square. So I got to do some measuring, see what I have for the shims that they sent along. And we'll try something here in a minute. Okay, I come up with something here. They did actually send me a boatload of shims extra. This is, that kit came with a bunch of different sizes and a whole bunch of different ones. That's actually really good. I'm just going to change just the one on the left side. Now it may not work, and you may have to do a bunch of times taking this in and out. This is where it becomes a real pain in the butt. That you may have to pull this in and out of there several times, you know, to get it right. So what I did was I measured the one that came out of it, which was 0.243 thousandths, and I am putting in 4 shims, 2 bigger ones, 2 smaller ones, that come to 0.230. So I've taken basically 13 thousandths out, which is probably way too much, but that's where I'm going to start, see if we can get it together, because I don't know how far off it was. I'm keeping the one on the passenger side the same, and I'm changing the one on the driver's side. No rhyme or reason at this point, more of just trying to get it in there. Like I said, the fine tuning will come once everything gets in and bolted down, and then you check your pattern, the ring and pinion pattern. Fingers out of the way is the hardest thing to do. See, this one's way off. And now this one's way off. Like I said, it's not something that's really easy to do. Aggravation's the only thing that comes easy in these. Like I said, a lot of the people who've done this before, you know, it just comes to them naturally, or they have the right tools or setup or done it so many times that it's I don't think so. I'm not beating the race really. I'm just tapping the shims in place. I can already tell you just by that sound that's way too much backlash, but I don't think it's in all the way yet either. So let's put the carrier, oops, let me beat the camera. Make sure you remember how these went. We talked about this. They're marked. So I got the right side. I didn't actually move them. I left the one laying here on this side and the other one on the other, but I also have it marked, like I said, top. Don't forget to do that. And of course it's not starting because, you know, I need it to, want it to, desire it to, so it's not going to. I must be off still somehow. Yeah, it needs to go up. Again, I'm just tapping on the shims. Yeah. Feel better when one of these starts, so this thing can't fall out and kill me. Well, it still could, I suppose. Just pushing it in there a little further, I get all these bolts started. That's much better. At least I can spin them all by hand, sorta. Still think I got too much backlash. And I have no tools out here again. So I can't remember what size those were. Let's see. This is more fun than humans should be allowed. I gotta move you. You're on my... Somehow, I cannot believe this. How did that happen? I got the hose wrapped around a cinder block. There we go. All right. What else is new? $15? Nope. 16? Yep. Okay, it's just on one. I don't have it very tight. Okay. That actually don't sound bad. You need a certain amount of backlash. You have to have a certain amount. So, okay. Now, what? The biggest thing you're going to run into is I'm cleaning off a screwdriver. You cannot believe the crap that's blowing around being spring. I don't even know what it is. Come off some tree. Okay, you're seeing a little bit of rust in here. That was because of coming out of the freezer, flash rusting. Because it had a little bit, you know, once it started thawing. Okay, I'll be back. Let's see here. I need. Oh, I wish the wind would blow. This is not, I don't have it set up to do. Nope. Well, there's no, well, that's all garbage there. I'm gonna have to clean this off, guys. I thought I had it cleaner than that, but that is not the case. There's grease and gasket material and rust. I have to get my gasket scraper on this anyway, before I put the cover gasket back on. And the cover isn't clean either. I mean, it's clean, but I don't have the gasket scraped off of it yet, so I'll need another. Okay, now let's get this thing positioned. This is a, they call a, come on, sorry, I'm trying to concentrate here. This is a, they call it a dial gauge, dial indicator, dial. There's all kinds of different names that, well, I've heard them listed as, but basically what this thing does is it, I guess I ought to put it where I can see the gauge, which may not be as easy as one thing. Probably gonna hit the camera and move it somewhere else. You're not gonna be able to see what I'm doing here because I've got this thing completely the wrong direction. Basically, what I'm after is I'm trying to figure, get it zeroed out here. Okay, that's zero. You have to take my word for it. I'm gonna hold the pinion as tight as I can, which I know isn't gonna be easy, and I need to move. See how much. It's not as easy as one would think. I can't do this at the same time for some reason. Guess what you could do is I think there's a way I could kind of hold that tight without it not move that. That's better. Looks about 6 thousandths, 5 to 6 thousandths. Yep. 5 to 6 thousandths, somewhere in that range. So if I'm not mistaken, that's good. I'm going to go research that real quick because I am not 100% for sure. Then I'm going to do a quick cleanup on that gear and bring them the paint in that they put on there. It's a paste of some type. I better say it that way. We'll put it on there and see what the pattern looks like. If it's too deep, too far out, too in, out, too out, whatever. And then that will kind of, you know, tell me how we're doing that way. But you have to take my word for it, because I can't rotate this to where you can see it and then hold everything at the same time plus the camera. But it's about 5 to 6 thousandths, and if I'm not mistaken, that's a good number. I'll bring you back and give you an exact.